Welcome back to another episode of Late Entry, your favorite or soon-to-be favorite place for the hottest sports news, the wildest viral topics, and conversations guaranteed to make you laugh. We got the whole squad back with us tonight. Welcome back, baby Jokic.
Hey, what up, though, everybody?
Hey, y'all see, the Pacers finally won, so he had to fucking show back up. If the Knicks had won, your ass would not be here today.
I would have been back after the finals.
We got Drip Guy Woo.
Late Entry family, what's good?
And we got RBF Kyle.
How we doing?
Tonight we're going to talk about the Pacers wrapping up the Knicks. Going to get into a little bit of a preview of the NBA championship. Some potential news for some superstars moving around in the NBA in the offseason. And then Toph is going to give us some of his new segment, the Who You Taking. This is going to be the NFL edition. So before we get into it, just want to say thank you, everybody who's been rocking with us. I think we're up to 59 subscribers now, so we're making our way up toward our goal of 100 right now. So thank you guys, everybody, for us. Don't forget, if you're watching this and you're not already, give us a follow or subscribe, leave a like, and leave a comment in the comment section for us. We do read all of those, especially when you agree or disagree with us about a take. So thank you for that. All right. Before we get into this, I just got to ask y'all, if the Pacers get swept by the Thunder, does that make them frauds or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. I didn't think so. That was my Hail Mary. Look, I got to come out and say I was wrong. For what I consider to be good reason, I have been killing the Pacers for the last 2 years, calling them frauds, saying they haven't played anybody healthy, and all of that. So today, I sit here after watching the Pacers beat a healthy Knicks team that looked very good, that I thought was going to the finals. I got to come out here before all of you and say, I was super wrong. These motherfuckers were not frauds. They look incredible. And Nolan, I owe you some money, bro. You take Venmo?
I do. I'll take the Venmo. I'll take the cash next time I see you in hand. I think the cash is personally better, but we'll see next time we get together this summer.
Look, I'm doing it right here. Everybody can see this.
Everybody post that Venmo online. Everybody send him $10. Everybody who had the Knicks, send my man Nolan $10.
At Bradford_Nolan, send it right.
Nolan, you have been paid. And if the Pacers win the championship, I owe you another $5 on top of that.
Oh yeah.
So I'm man of my word, and I was wrong. Come out here and tell y'all I fucked up. Do y'all want to get into any recap for this Pacers beating the Knicks? Nolan, I'll let you start if you want to say anything.
Yeah, I'll just take a little bit of it because Haliburton obviously played good. He was the clutch player. I thought there was a really funny clip that came out after they won of him walking up to go accept that Eastern Finals MVP trophy, and Pascal Siakam, and he did the half turn. I thought that was pretty good. But congrats to the Pacers, fucking looking dominant still. Kind of reminds me of that Heat team with Jimmy Butler that made it to the finals. That's just kind of the comparison that I'm seeing between this Pacers team and just the teams from years past.
Yeah, I gotta say, I was a believer in these Pacers up until they came against the Knicks, and when I saw the Knicks were fully healthy and Josh Hart was still in there as like the kind of 5'6" man, I was like, I had some belief, but goddamn, these Indiana guys, they came to play, and about halfway through the series, I was waffling. When we were down 2-1, when the Knicks were down 2-1, I was already like, yep, all right, it's cooked. Like, I was already ready to waffle, and I slept through that episode, but I was ready to waffle and go all the way back on my Knicks predictions and being like, Pacers to the finals. So I'm fully here for this. Do I think they have what it takes to win it all? Like you just said, are they frauds? Probably not, regardless, but because they got there. But I think they're going to have a chance and probably take it to 6 or 7 at least against OKC.
Toph?
I cannot confidently say 6 or 7 games, but I'm not mad at the take whatsoever. kind of just like Kyle said, you can't really call a team a fraud if they were to take down 3 teams and you got to the finals. If they were frauds, they wouldn't be there. You probably maybe get one round, but you're definitely not going to beat two highly rated teams that people thought should be in the finals. So I'm gonna give my props to the Pacers. Also, give a shout out to Paul George, because if Paul George leaves your team, you get to the finals. So Clippers, you guys are up next.
That is crazy how all those dots connect with like the Shea trade and the Victor Oladipo trade. Nuts.
Yeah, I can definitely see them getting one game. But like I said, I think that the Thunder, just got too much firepower. It's the perfect storm for them, so they should be able to pretty much wrap this one up. And, I'm going to give them 5 games.
I think that's probably the most fair and honest prediction is Thunder in 5, because holy shit, do they look dominant. And they let one slip to the Timberwolves, too. I mean, yeah, they lost the game by 40, but, I mean, that was kind of a fluke in my opinion. I think the Thunder have it for sure.
Before we get into our, like, definitive, like, picks for the Thunder and stuff, yeah, I guess, yeah, I give them no credit for beating the Bucks or the Cavs, but the Knicks team looked good. Hold on. The Knicks team looked good, and they were beating the Celtics already when Tatum was still healthy. And then they lost to the Pacers. So, yeah, shout out to them. That was impressive, very impressive. I got to say, nothing bad about the Pacers as a whole today. Special shout out to Miles Turner, the only player still left from the Paul George time in the Indiana. So very happy for him. Happy to see him go to a finals. Crazy it's happening now and never with Paul George, but
yeah.
Besides the point. One thing I do want to say, the Pacers team success does not take away from my take that Haliburton is not a superstar. And I think that is even furthered by the fact that he did not win the Eastern Conference MVP. I'm just going to say that. He is just as likely. I saw a tweet that said this, and I forgot who it was, but someone said he's just as likely to give you 4 points as he is to give you, 30 points. So I hope, from not a hater perspective, from just an unbiased perspective, I hope that we see him continue to take steps into that superstardom. There's a stat, I forgot exactly what the number, like the percentage is, but basically, if Haliburton gives you 20 points, the Knicks more times than not win. If he doesn't give you 20 points, then they're not winning. Has to do with the fact that, if you're a consistent scoring threat, you're spreading the floor
Point
out more
God.
as compared to if you're just just distributing all the time and they're not having to cover you. So yeah, I'm happy to see that, and I'm happy to see him grow. I'm hoping that he continues to take the next step into just consistency. That's all I want to see from him. As far as
I think you need to go back and watch
what?
Spence, you need to go back and watch an MVP Steve Nash season. That's how he's playing right now.
Bro, they lost game, 5? Was it 5 or was it? Yeah. They lost game 5, and he gave them 6 points and 4 assists or some shit like that, bro. That's the shit that I'm talking about. And that's when, I know you weren't here for this episode.
I know.
But last week I was talking shit about him because I was like, this is what I'm talking about right here. And then they turn around and they close him out in game 6. But guess what? He had 20 points. So that's all I'm saying is I just need to see the consistency from him. I'm not dissing the talent at all.
And I like you and Toph's takes on superstars and like what that threshold is. And if we're talking Toph's threshold, then Haliburton has a lot of work to do to get to be a superstar. Toph doesn't. If you ain't a legacy player, you're not a superstar to Toph. So
he ain't got no seat at the table.
Hey, yo. I call him an all-star, but I ain't about to sit here this class and call him a superstar. So I'm with you.
Toph is strict. Toph has got some real strict ones.
Toph was so strict, dude.
But
Toph was like my dad when I got a B, dude. He was yelling at the table.
Not everybody can join this club.
This kind of bridges us into the next part about the finals, though. So I think that because they don't necessarily have a superstar and they have a super stacked team. I think that's what's making them so dangerous. Is that you're kind of seeing a situation where, like you had Brunson and Cat, two stars on the team, and when they were locked up, it was kind of over. And so I want to read you guys a tweet that really kind of had me thinking, actually. This was from at Dragonfly Jones on Twitter. If you guys don't follow him, one of the funniest people on Twitter. And he actually is part of a podcast, Jenkins and Jones, one of my favorites. But he had tweeted, Pacers OKC going to be some hashtag real hoops. No disrespect to the Knicks, but that save us Cat, save us Brunson offense ain't going to cut it versus the Thunder. OKC easily shuts down teams like those. If you don't have a swing that motherfucker offense, you have no shot versus the Thunder. And the Pacers really have that. They've got a whole team full of dogs, and there's no one superstar that's going to come through and save them, which is why I don't think that Hallie's a superstar. When things are bad, Hallie's not the person like, hey, go out here and save us. But at the same time, they don't often need to be saved because the whole team can carry the weight. And so because of that, I think that where the Thunder are really good at, we're going to lock up one player or lock up two players and then make the rest of us beat them. The rest of them can beat you. And so I don't disagree with how good the Thunder have looked of you guys as, in 5. But if they were to push it to 6 or even 7, I wouldn't be super, super surprised if the Pacers could get a few. What do you guys think?
I actually that was going to be my next take, was exactly that if they push it to those 6 or 7, look out, because you don't know. When they pull you out to the thick, like, who's going to keep treading water longer, And OKC has some depth, and I think the Pacers have a lot of depth, like almost more, So, but that being said, like, it does, like, OKC has a superstar, clearly, right?
Yes.
And granted, he has not necessarily carried them through every game, but he has been a resounding factor, and obviously he won their MVP on the Western side. But, like, I do think that him and Haliburton are somewhat comparable, but I think the things they're asked from of their team are different. And that being said, like, Shea would never be asked to shoot 7 shots in a game. Like 2 for 7 from Haliburton in Game 5, like that would have never happened in OKC. But that's a little bit of a different game script and this and that. So is that going to hold the Pacers back by running that game script where you can't get your best player the ball because he's not shooting well? So you just dish it to all these other people? Like, that could pose as a problem. But I think if they take it the distance, then the Pacers got it. But if OKC can do what they do, it will be over in 5, like you guys said.
I want to real fast before I hand this back off to Toph, but the one thing that I'm thinking about is comparing the two teams. Like you kind of pointed out, they have some very big similarities between them. They're both deep. They both, pass the ball around. They both shoot, et cetera, et cetera. My only wonder is if the Pacers are like the Walmart brand version of the Thunder, because they match up pretty similarly, but the Thunder seem like they can just do it a little bit better. And it's kind of like that Cat Williams fucking joke where he's like, Chrysler 300 looked like a Phantom until a Phantom pulls up. Like everything that the Pacers do, the Thunder do as well. But when it comes time to clutch time, I think that Shea is definitely a more consistent budgeting superstar than Haliburton is. I'm just curious on if you need a bucket to win, does Hallie have that? Now he did in Game 1 against the Knicks. I'll say that. But can he do it against the Thunder? Toph?
Yeah, I think he made some really good points because when I look at the Pacers team to the Thunder, just matchup for matchup, you could kind of see they have a very similar team. The only difference is, other than Miles Turner, you got Tony Bradley, which I think Ihart plays an amazing center for that team. He's gritty. He does his job. He doesn't try to go outside of his role. So he's a good pair up with Chet Holmgren, who I think it's kind of like that a stretch big, things like that, where Tony Bradley gets matched up on Chet Holmgren. It's gonna be barbecue chicken. Even Miles Turner as well too. Like I said, I think Chet, where he may be pretty slim, that man's pretty athletic for his size and things like that, and he's an amazing shooter. But I think the big part just comes down to, my guy J Dub. Well, I said I'm taking him over Jaylen Brown. And don't get me started about Shea. If we're gonna go, point guard for point guard, yes, Tyrese Haliburton has the size, but he has nowhere near the athleticism or the skill that Shea's going to do. Shea pretty much said, "Frank, I don't care about my efficiency. I'm just going to get my buckets, things like that." And he says, "I'm not going to be denied. I'm not going to lose when I lose this game. So if I got to shoot 40 times a game, I'm going to do it." So I said, he will not have a 2% performance at all. Like I said, I think even if the Pacers play, they have to play perfect. For them to, take it to 7, something has to go vastly wrong for the Thunder. Someone's got to get hurt. I just find it very hard to see them, getting 3, let alone 2 games on the Thunder. I think this is the perfect matchup for them. They're not afraid of anybody. Like I said, in terms of perimeter defenders, the Thunder are probably some of the best, for the entire team in the league. Those guys are dogs. They're hungry. They'll guard you 95 feet. They'll put you in the torture chamber. It's going to be a long day. And I don't think Tyrese Haliburton, he struggled with that against the Knicks when they just put the full pressure on him. So the Thunder could do that with at least 3 to 4 guys easily. And the more consistent shooting, like I said, I think it just comes down to the MVP. It's just Shea's moment. He's finally got there. He's worked really hard. I just don't see them being denied.
Nolan?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that's been said here. I definitely think the Thunder have the leg up. I think one of the most interesting matchups to watch is going to be Siakam and Chet Holmgren. I think that's going to be 2 skinny, lanky dudes just going at it down low, trying to get rebounds and blocks over each other. It's going to be pretty awesome to watch, I think. Going back to the center position, I think iHeart has it. Even for as good as Miles Turner is, I still think iHeart is running that show. So even just going down just the starting lineup, I think OKC wins, and I think that's why they're going to end up taking the series in likely 5 games. Hopefully not a sweep. I want to see at least a little bit of basketball bleed into next weekend.
So you're saying 5 games, you said? Kyle, you're saying how many?
Give me 7. I think this is going the distance.
All the way, baby.
7. 7 with the Thunder winning?
7 with I don't know.
You're just straight no pick.
I'm picking no winner.
I want to pick the Pacers just because they've fought their asses off to be here, and people have put them down this whole time.
You ain't gotta say
so
people.
I guess I'll take
Spence.
Pacers in 7. Why not? That's a fun pick. Why not?
Okay. So
I'll
you're saying
drink the
Pacers in
Kool-Aid.
7?
Sure.
Okay. Toph?
I want to say 4, but out of respect for the Pacers, for the fight they put up, I'm going to say 5. But I wouldn't be surprised if it ends in 4 either.
Yeah, I could very easily see 4-2-7, to be honest with you. Nothing would surprise me.
It has to be 4-7, dude.
No.
I know what he meant. I know what he meant.
Wait, son of a bitch, bro.
I know what you meant too. I did. You could see it any way the cookie can cut it. You see it.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm not saying that my prediction is 4-7, asshole. I'm saying that, yes, no matter which way it turns out, I'm not going to be surprised because the Pacers have showed me something that I wasn't expecting as one of their biggest fucking haters the entire offseason. I've had my eyes opened. I'm just wondering if it's coming at the time that they're about to get fucking destroyed. I'm taking Thunder in 5. I'm just saying if it goes to 7, I wouldn't be shocked.
He's like, well, it's got to be 4-7 games, okay? That's my first. That's the first thing I want to
Motherfucker
say.
Nolan came back to the show just to ruin my night, bro. Fuck you.
He made you pay him, and then he made fun of you.
This will be the last time y'all see Nolan on the fucking show.
His
about to
screen just
fucking-
goes black.
I'm about to be Stephen A. Smith, and you're about to be fucking Max Kellerman. Goodbye.
Bro,
Start
no.
blowing up your phone.
Where's the inclusion?
All right. So look, real quick before we get into some NFL, there are the potential for 3 moves that I've seen circulating on Twitter right now, and I'm going to list all 3 of them, and then I'm going to ask each of you. I'm going to start with Nolan. Which one do you like, if any of them? Giannis to the Raptors, Giannis and KD to the Raptors, KD getting swapped for Cat.
New York.
You like that? Is what you're saying?
Concrete
You can say-
jungle where
well,
dreams are made
You
of.
can say none of them. It's not. You don't have to pick the best one. You can say none of them. I'm saying, do you like any of them?
I think having Giannis and KD on any team together is obviously going to be the best choice.
That was exactly what I was thinking. Out of those 3, having those 2 on the same team is awesome. So
You could put them anywhere in the league. You could put them on the fucking Charlotte Hornets, and they're going to be the best team in the league.
yeah, just give Van Vliet some stilts.
I'm not going to fucking turn this into another fuck KD conversation. I'm just gonna say you would have thought that in Brooklyn and with the Suns.
Yeah, but Brooklyn only played like 3 games together.
What about the Suns?
They went to a finals.
Not with him. They went to the finals with Chris Paul and Devin Booker. Kevin Durant has been a worse wingman for Booker than Chris Paul.
So yeah, I take that one back. They only made it to probably only
The first
not
round.
even a conference finals.
They got eliminated in the first round by Anthony Edwards.
Brutal. Yeah, so I'm still going with KD and Giannis together. That's
Okay.
the best one out of the 3 that you had mentioned.
Do you like that though?
Like, do I think
To
it's
the
good for the league?
Raptors?
Do I think it's good
No.
for my team? Like, what are we
No,
talking?
I'm saying like, do you like their? If you put them to, like, I'm saying, do you like that move for each of those players? Like, of all the places they could wind up,
100%.
is that what you would think is the best move for both of them?
I think they could both do well individually wherever they went, but if they went somewhere together, that's going to be the best option, I think. I doubt they're going to end up teaming up. They've got opposite personalities too.
I agree. I don't think they'll team up, but I would also consider that the best option out of the 3 you listed. That being said,
can
I
give
probably
another
would take
option.
none of them,
Yes.
but I would say that's the best of the 3. I don't know where the hell I'm picking KD, but hopefully whenever he signs, I can sit here and ride my horse on him. But for now, I'll just say,
Hey, yo.
ride my horse. Right on KD. I hope. Hey,
Oh my God.
if I do that, he won't disrespect me in an interview. All right. Anyways, that was just a bad choice of words, Spencer. All right. I'm done. I take KD anywhere. Hooping.
I'm at a loss for words.
I mean, what do you want from me? I agreed that none of them were good, and then I can't make one analogy. I swear.
You are getting your name changed from RBF Kyle to KD Glazer #1.
Okay.
All right, Toph.
I'll take that. I'll wear that with pride, dude.
I got a couple questions before I give my answers.
Okay.
Is there like any context on like who's getting dealt for? I mean, to get KD and Giannis on any team, that team's got to be gutted. I can't confidently say, "Oh no, I'm not taking that." Then, I'd rather just keep it. Now, if I could pick another choice,
You get to.
I mean, even Raptors, you'd have to get rid of. Hopefully not Scotty Barnes, Grady Dick, R.J. Barrett, first round picks. I'm not giving all
Brandon
that
Ingram is there
for-
too.
Who?
Brandon
B.I.
Ingram.
Oh, I forgot
Brandon,
B.I.'s
yeah.
in it. Yeah, but yeah, would probably be gone. I wouldn't want to get rid of Scotty Barnes. It would depend on what they got rid of. So I can't just say them two. I gotta know who else is leaving for me to confidently say would I take that. You said I could give my own answer.
What if, for the sake of argument, what if the Raptors won? What if it was a fuck ton of picks and either BI or Scotty Barnes?
Like one of them got to go.
One of them and a bunch of
I'd rather
picks.
get rid of B.I. I'd rather keep Scotty Barnes.
So if you
it
give
gives
BI and a
versatility.
bunch of picks, and that's the team. for the sake of this answer?
I feel
I
like
get
that
both
can
of them,
only
or I
get
get just one of
Giannis,
them?
though.
Yeah, I couldn't get both of them. So let's say, okay, if I had to pick for that team, I'd rather have KD. Just
Okay.
because Giannis already plays inside the paint, him and Scotty Barnes, that's some pretty nasty spacing. I gotta have KD at that point. Sorry, Giannis.
Okay. You said you could have your own answer though.
Yes. Let's just for Giannis here. I personally would like to see Giannis in San Antonio.
Bingo. That's my
I
answer
think
too.
him and Wemby, because Wemby could technically just play. I like him better at the 4. Giannis play the 5, even though Wemby's way taller than Giannis. I think his shooting is just way better. That's mismatched for anybody that's going to be out there. But I'd rather have those 2 tall guys. Defensively, you're not taking anything in the paint. Straight middies and 3-pointers. So I would want Giannis to go to San Antonio. You could put KD in Toronto.
And I hear that because even like Giannis even has the range to go and crash out in the paint, and so does Victor. So you can kind of play hybrid in the paint when you see a ISO moment, but for the most part, you just play point, play outside the perimeter as big men. I mean, 2 of them together, that'd be diabolical. But so would him and KD. Them both
Giannis
playing
is a good
outside the
playmaker.
perimeter would be a similar vibe. But that like you just said, it's not going to happen. No team is going to afford both of them.
I think that the only problem with the Giannis in San Antonio is you'd be moving Wemby into more of a Brook Lopez, sit in the corner, catch and hit threes, and I think he's way too skilled to be doing something like that.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
just in terms of spacing for Giannis, you don't really have a choice.
You need to just clear the whole fucking paint.
Yeah. I mean, also, he could drive and kick, but if you're going to tell me, I can't double team, Giannis, he should better get to the paint very easy if you had Wemby out there as well, too. It is a little weird, but like I said, in terms of that, I think it'd be interesting to see that from offense and a defensive standpoint, those 2 together.
Yeah. I also think Boston could try to make a run for him, for Giannis, with Tatum being out for the year.
I mean, I've heard potential Jaylen Brown trades. I've heard all kinds of stuff for Boston.
They already can't afford to keep paying everyone on the Celtics as it is, let alone adding Giannis to it. They're going to have to lose a lot.
Yeah, but they're an East Coast team. They'll find a way.
Inflation,
Brad Stevens, he got it.
I don't have too much to add to the stuff that you guys said. I was with Toph. I wanted to see Giannis in San Antonio. Nolan, you bring up a good point, though, about the floor spacing with the 2 of them. I don't want to see Giannis or KD with the Raptors. I mean, I guess KD can go where the hell he wants to go. I don't give a fuck about him. But Giannis, I don't want to see. Why would you leave a small market team that in a city that loves you, that you've won a chip with, to go to the fucking extradited out of the U.S. to the fucking Canadian team to go be with another small market team in a situation like it doesn't make any sense to me. If KD leaves, I want to see, or not KD, if Giannis leaves, I want to go see him somewhere that's like, okay, boom, that makes so much sense.
Hold up. Toronto is not a small market.
Toronto?
I mean, it's not like New York, LA. I mean, I'd probably say it's bigger than OKC and Indiana, who are both in the finals.
I'd say it's bigger than Miami.
I guess I don't really know about
Maybe
that.
for basketball, yeah. Maybe for basketball.
I guess maybe I can't speak on what size their market is. They seem irrelevant. They've been relevant.
That is fair. It is a Canadian basketball team.
Yeah, like I want to see Giannis go somewhere and be relevant. Even with the Heat, you could say it's maybe a smaller market. It's a much more relevant team.
They just got to gut their team too much for him to go on that team. He'd might as well just stay in Milwaukee.
That's what I'm saying is like if he leaves a place that he is like a god, quote unquote, go somewhere that we're like, okay, that makes okay, yep, you got it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
The Raptors are not that to me. As far as KD switching to the Knicks, it doesn't make sense to me if Thibodeau is still their coach. He plays his guys too many minutes, and he's big on defense. And KD, I don't think is a lockdown defender in this day and age, and I don't think that he can stay healthy given his history under a coach like Thibodeau. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, I agree with that. 100%.
As a KD lover, I agree with that. was not going to fight you on this one, Spencer. That was totally on point.
Thank you.
What
All
if
right, go
KD
ahead.
could go back to OKC?
It makes the
Without
most
getting
sense.
rid of
Oh,
You get to keep J Dub and Shea are still on the team.
It makes the most sense because you could even keep Chet. You've got so many
Yep.
picks. With the Thunder,
man, that
Four
would be.
first-round
He's
picks.
not going to do it. He's not going to do it because his
should.
fucking
It-
ego is so big. But
it
god
is-
damn it, KD, go back to OKC, man.
it is definitely the spot
Show
that makes the
Spencer
most
how you
sense.
can do it.
If the
Hey, the
Thunder
one
Even
thing-
though you're going to have
hey,
a team around
hey.
you again, so he's going to discredit it.
I was gonna say the one thing that will be terrible for this though, if OKC wins the chip and KD goes there,
And then they
The jokes-
lose like first round.
no,
just
even
like
if they
the
win, I'm
Warriors.
just saying that just the jokes write themselves. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
now if OKC
Go
loses,
Pacers.
he got to go back.
Go
Yeah.
Pacers.
Get that LeBron ring.
If he
Go back
if
where you started.
right,
Go
exactly.
get Russell. Go
Yep.
get James Harden.
If he goes back, if they lose and he gets them over the hump, legend.
Yes.
James,
Yes.
Russ, and KD all meet up in OKC.
That would be
Yeah, they win the
crazy.
championship.
Go call him Serge Ibaka. He might coach or something.
Fucking two of them are going to be coming off the bench probably.
All right, y'all. Quick take time before we get into the star segment of the show. Frank Ragnow, 4-time Pro Bowler, 7-year career.
Holy
Damn.
shit.
Sorry, I'm not mad about it. I'm good.
Center for the Detroit Lions has retired today. I don't know what their depth looks like as far as other centers on the team. It's unfortunate that this happened after the draft and not beforehand. I think it's brutal. I think that the Lions rely so much on their run game. A good center is important for that and for all of the little stuff that they like to do there. We now don't have an OC, or we don't have our former OC, and we don't have our center. Those are two of the biggest, minds of the offense. It's going to be interesting this season. Nolan?
Yeah, extremely sad news. Wish his career could have been longer. Obviously, I agree with him at the end of the day, taking his health first. Because I know if you play as an offensive lineman in the NFL for like 15 plus years, most of those guys aren't seen until like 75. So I can totally commend him for putting his body on the line for the years that he did. And next man up. Ready to see him come in and play.
Kyle?
Yeah, Graham Glasgow has some big shoes to fill now. He's definitely the clear point center. He played center for us multiple times leading up to this season. There was uncertainty as if the Lions would re-sign Glasgow because he kind of had some half-assed left guard play this year. But I think that the reason the Lions kept Graham Glasgow on, even though he was kind of a cap hit, was because they saw the writing on the wall. And the reason they drafted so many offensive linemen was they saw the writing on the wall. Like, they had to have known going into it that, I mean, Decker's getting old. Ragnow probably even said something to the organization like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come back this year. Like, motherfucker played through a torn pectoral at the beginning of last season and played through the whole season with that. So I mean, that dude left it all on the field. I have no gripes towards Frank. I love that man. I wish we could have gotten some more years out of him, but I understand it's over. Man, he is everything Detroit embodies, though. So, just the hard work, the put your nose down, no excuses, play through hurt. Like, that is what we are, win or lose and good or bad under Dan Campbell. Could he have preserved Frank a little better? Maybe, but I don't think Frank wanted to be preserved. I think Frank wanted to get his ass out there and he wanted to play every snap like it was his last, and that's what he did. So I'm proud of him. I'm proud of this new Lions org, the fact that they were kind of ahead of that in drafting all these linemen. We have a lot of people like even Mahogany and people we drafted last year that are ready to fill some shoes, hopefully soon, as long as Todd Wash develops them. I don't think the D line or the O line is going to take a big hit this year, though. Like, I like kind of a hot take, but like I don't think we're going to take a step back because we have such a good O-line coach. He's going to make sure we get into the places we need to be. If it's Tate Ratledge, if it's Mahogany, whoever it is, like I think we're going to be all right. I really do. I don't think this puts us back as far as the media is going to say it's going to put us back, but the relationship between Goff and him is unmatched. So we'll see, but I really hope as a Detroit hopeful, I fucking hope this isn't closing our window. God damn it. Like, this better not be the start of the fucking downfall.
It sure feels like a possibility for it. Hopefully not. Toph, you have anything to add? I know that's not your team.
Yeah, not too much. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he like a Lions like his whole career?
Yeah.
Yes.
All 7 years.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, he only played 7 years? Dang it, that was short. Kind of like I said, I'm not a true Lions fan. You know, I don't know everybody on their team. But I know that if you still got Taylor Decker and Sewell's probably one of the top 2 offensive tackles in the league. You know, as long as you got him on there, you know, that's your staple, your building block in there. You still got your running backs. Most of your guys are still there. But Brad Holmes, I think, you know, he could arguably be one of the best, you know, GMs in the league. I know you got the guy in Philly. But Brad Holmes, man, whoever he drafts, you know, they always paying out, things like that. You know, a lot of your young people he drafted. So I would just say trust in that guy. He ain't steered in the wrong direction. So as long as that guy's still making the picks, you know, I think you guys probably make maybe 2 or 3 games, but I don't think it's a, you know, huge drop off and things like that. But I think they'll still be, you know, perfectly fine. You know, next man up as always.
The one thing that I do want to add to that, Kyle, because you brought up the potential of our window being closed, you're starting to see, and it's only 2 examples, but you're starting to see a situation in where people are starting to say, all right, I gave this my best shot, and now it's time for me to take my future in my next steps. Ben Johnson stayed 1 more year because he said, I believe in Detroit. I know what we've got here, and I want to win a Super Bowl with Detroit. They've made it even less far than they did 2 years ago, and Ben Johnson left. Now Frank Ragnow is doing the same thing. I know that both of them would have probably given anything to win a Super Bowl champion with the Lions. I'm hoping that, you know, next year or the year after, we'll be able to look back and say, thank you for everyone who helped get us here. It would have been nice for Ben and Frank to be here with us on the stage. I'm hoping that it's that situation and not instead that's kind of where it all went downhill.
Oh, shit, we can't beat the Bears? Come on.
Because the rest of the NFC North is coming, including the Bears. So I'm hoping that's where that's at. All right, everybody, we're going to wrap this up here, and then we're going to drop who you taking as an additional either one episode or in segments, like segmented episodes. So we're going to cut this here, and then check back in with us tomorrow. We'll give you at least one segment, if not the whole segment, for who you taking. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Late Entry Crew, we out. Peace.
Drop a like,
Peace.
sub. Peace.